السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. مرحبا بكم أيها الطلاب الكرام. اليوم سنأخذ الدرس العاشر الجزء الرابع. Today is lesson 10 part 4. And as you have noticed last time, we introduced ta al-fa'il, the ta of actioner, the one doing the action. So let us use verbs a little more before we jump into the rest of what is being said. Because if you just take the basic idea and you move past it, it isn't going to stay. What is the dhamir that attaches itself to huwa for a verb? Don't get it confused with a noun. Hu and ha, like we've taken before, when you want to say his and her, we said was a ha, or you add a hu and you add a ha. But now we're talking about verbs. So when you say he went, ذهب, and this is a good time for you guys to start really getting, these vocabulary words down. Actually, it's been a long time since we reminded you guys to take all the vocabulary words. And this lesson in particular, lesson 10, it really introduces a lot of things, and it's going to be the make or break lesson for you for Arabic. If you get to this lesson and you comprehend everything that is in it, it's going to be smooth sailing after that. If you find it's too hard for you and I can't take it, go back and watch the older videos, then come back and watch this one. That's all that means. And sometimes you might have to watch something 2 or 3 times to fully understand it. It's okay. And actually, when you're studying Arabic, that's what'll happen. So, ذهب, he went. Where is he? Do I say ذهب huwa? We said no. This dhamir is mustatir. It's hidden. All right? So you don't write or add anything to it. This is not introduced in the lesson, but we're going to write it just for benefit's sake. You would say ذهبت, and we're not going to explain any more on that. You're just going to say ذهبت, because this has its own situation that goes on. This is how you say she went. Okay? This is required for you to know, and this is required for you to know. This is required for you to know. The one for feminine, we're not taking it yet, but we'll mention it just for the sake of them already being on the board. So, she went. You say ذهب. I'm sorry, he went. You say ذهب. كتب. He wrote. أكل. He ate. How do you say you ate? We take the same word ذهب. Right? We said what you're going to add. This ta, you're going to take it over here. It's going to be attached. ذهب. Ta. That right there is too hard to say. So they changed it to make it that the letter before the ta, that you attached is going to have a sukoon. All right? Somebody might ask a question and say, well, this is a ta. How come this didn't have a sukoon there? You want to have 2 sukoons, and then I tell you why 2 sukoons in Arabic are not supposed to be there? You guys know that rule. Since this one was a sukoon, we're not going to change that to a sukoon. This came as a fatha, so that had to be a sukoon to make it easier to say. ذهبت, you went. Now, I went. What letter do we write? 2. Yeah, there's no 2 over here. Well, if you add a na, it's going to be confusing because that's used for the next word, which is نحن. ذهب 2. All right. I'm going to write some words now on the board, and hopefully they will be a little bit of useful vocabulary for you guys, okay? So, a word. You can say, we have ذهب, we're going to use دخل. We take دخل, how do you say you entered? دخلت. Okay, good. How do you say I entered? That's entered, by the way. دخل, you're going to make it that you have to add the two. This has to be sukun. دخلت. All right? He entered. دخلت. دخلت. Here's another one. أكل. He ate. Let's see if you guys can do that. أكل. أكلت. Now, I ate. أكلت. Very good. We will take one more. We can say قرأ. قاف راء ألف. Sickly looking قاف. قرأ. He read. قرأ. Make this a sukun. قرأت. قرأت. I read. قرأت. Make that a sukun at the end. قرأت. قرأت. And that's how you're going to make 3-letter past tense verbs and conjugate them. Going to change them from he did it to you did it to I did it. And then you can start to really expand on your vocabulary. All right, next. At the bottom of page 55, it says, Na'am, not the bottom middle, under where it says Muhammad, Na'am dhahabtu. Yes, dhahabtu. Ma ma'na dhahabtu? It's for ana, I went. Na'am dhahabtu. وَزَمِيلُكَ. Okay, Zamil means classmate. What is the kaf in there? Zamiluka. Okay, the one that we had on here previously, a pronoun attached to a noun. Zamiluka, your classmate. Aina abuhu. Aina abuhu. Where's his dad? You see the hu on abuhu, it belongs to him. Not belongs to him, but it's related to him. Where's his dad? Abuhu, his father. We have the word abu plus hu. Abuhu fil yaban. Huwa tajirun kabirun. Abuhu, his father, fil yaban. His father is in Japan. Huwa tajirun kabirun. We used huwa. It means he is a big merchant. He's a big trader. Then we get into something here that is also newly introduced. It is adding the lam harful jar. Let me erase this. And we're also going to erase these. Okay, so we said, remember, that the tas that we added, the two, the t, the ta, right? Those right there are in the marfu' state. Lam is a harf jar. So you cannot come and add a lam, right? And this lam is going to be for. It means for, okay? Or belonging to. So since this is a harf jar, you can't take this ta that is supposed to be in the marfu' state and say latu, or I'm sorry, leta, to say for you. You can't do that because this ta is only connected to verbs and it's supposed to be in the marfu' state. How can it be in the marfu' state when this harf jar, this letter of jar, remember we said that there are some like min, ila, an, ala, when they come before a word, they make the word after it have a kasra. So, how can it use this dhamir that is only used for marfu' state? How can it then be used for a majroor state? We say it cannot. But if you remember, what do we add to nouns that we said previously is mudafun ilayh when it's connected to a noun? For huwa and hiya, we said it was hu and ha, or I'm sorry, hu. For her was ha. For here it was ka and ki. And for here it was ya. So now we're back to these being added to huruf. Being added to huruf. Huruf and nouns. Letters and nouns. So we take the la that means for or related to or belonging to. For li. And now we can add it and make sense now because he says laka. Okay? So, laka means for you. When it comes in the form of a question, when he adds the laka, do we say in English, is for you, akhun wahid? We don't say that in English. We say, do you have? Okay? Do you have? So, we now know that the word, when you add li to something, it can mean have or has. It could be for. Okay? It could mean, and when we say for, we're talking about like it belongs to him or it's his. Okay? Just so that way somebody doesn't come and say, well, you said it means for you. And this would then have to be does for you. Okay? Alaka means do you have? Do you have? That's a V. So he says, Alaka akhun ya Muhammad. Alaka akhun. Do you have? Here, he used the word laka, and people will probably say, well, why don't we just use enda instead? Enda and li, right? Sometimes this can be la, by the way. They can both mean have. They can both mean have. But it is more proper to say lak or li, I have, akhun, than indi akhun. And I'll tell you why. Indi is used as a dharf, a place, like an adverb to tell you where something is taking place or when something is taking place. So when you say indi, you're not describing that your brother is there with you, right? You would say ma'i, right? I have my brother with me, ma'i akhi. So li is saying that you have one, meaning you're related to a brother, you're related to a sister. So that's why you would say li. Whereas inda is used to be have to describe a place as a dharf. This is not a dharf, this is a harf. All right? So that's why it's more proper to use li. It's more broad. You can say, li sayyaratun, and you can say li akhun. It's broad. Why? It means you own one or you possess one. Whereas indi means it's there with you. Okay? Loosely, it's used to describe that you own one, as how people normally speak today. They say indi akh, but the more proper way and the correct way is to say li akhun or li ukhtun, meaning I have a brother or I have a sister, because inda is a dharf, is used for placement. Okay? So that's why you find li is being used here. And We are going to take it a little more, inshallah, in the next class. But let's try to at least finish off reading this bottom part without any more explanation besides the definitions. لي أخ واحد. لي أخ واحد. I have one brother. اسمه أسامة. His name is Usama. وهو معي هنا, right? And he is with me here في المدينة المنورة. ولي أخت واحدة. We didn't say واحد. We didn't say أخت واحد. We said أخت واحدة. And I have one sister. اسمها زينب. Her name is Zainab. وهي في العراق مع زوجها. And she is in Iraq with her husband. And if you see in ma'a, we said it was a ظرف, right? And that's why the word زوج, it came with a kasra. It didn't say زوجها. It said زوجها because the ظرف makes the word after it مضاف إليه. And then we have the word ha, which her husband, زوجها. And then the beginning of the sentence start, nothing changes it to be زوجها anymore. Now it's the regular زوجها مهندس. That's at the end of page 55. There is a lot that was in this lesson and in the first 4 lessons of chapter 10. I would highly recommend, we're going to keep on recording to go forward, but I would highly recommend that you watch lesson 10 at least 2 times. نكتفي بهذا القدر. اللهم علمنا ما ينفعنا وانفعنا بما علمتنا وزدنا علما وإلى اللقاء والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.